Arriving in Santa Cruz, Bolivia was so exciting. Finally leaving the CCM in Lima, and although not ready with the language or whatnot, you are so ready and filled with the Spirit to get into the field and begin the work where you were called. Um, I remember arriving in Santa Cruz, and it just so happened to be the week of Carnaval, which is, if you know anything about Carnaval, it is something that is a little crazy on the streets. We're actually, as missionaries in our mission, for a week, we weren't able to go outside because it would get so crazy with all the festivities. A lot of people would fill up water balloons with paint, and if you're out on the streets, you're fair game. And so we got out of the airport and straight onto a bus, and as we drove, from the airport all the way down, and we started to get into the city where we were at stoplights, and we were in the inner city going to that main chapel to meet the mission president and the rest of the zones where we would meet our companions. I remember we had to close the windows because they were saying, "Hey, if they see a whole bunch of missionaries with white shirts, they're gonna start, throwing paint and water balloons at the bus." So we had to kind of close the windows, and we were peeking out and seeing all the craziness. We had no idea what Carnival was, and we had no idea that we were there just at that time. But it was exciting, and it was so fun to see all the people and just to feel that we're there and that we're ready to serve. Arriving to the main chapel in the center of Santa Cruz was an exciting experience as well. Meeting your first companion. I remember we all sat down, how we did it at the time with our mission president. We all sat down in the chapel, and they called out. Our group had like 26 new missionaries, and they just kind of went down the list on who your companion was, and you ran up to the front and you shook their hand or gave them a hug, and you sat down with them, and that's when your name was called and you were ready to go to your area. It was super fun. And my first companion, Elder Schwenke, North American, but half Samoan, and I grew up in Hawaii, and I knew some Schwenkes as well, so I was excited. He's probably 6'5" and a lot bigger than I was, and which meant his steps were a lot wider than I were, so we walked really fast, and it was an awesome way to start the mission. We left our meeting. We took a bus, whatever public transportation. I was so lost at the time, I couldn't tell you. We got to our area, put down our bags, and we said, "Let's go." And we left the room with just our scriptures in hand, and we went and started doing contacts and meeting with investigators. And I was, just arrived, and you were straight out doing the work. And looking back, that was the best way to begin. Just dive head in and go right at it. We worked very hard with my first companion, and I just remember feeling that that's what I wanted to do. Just, Elder, I don't know the language. I don't know all the answers to the questions. I might not be the best teacher or be able to say much in contacts, but I'm ready to work. And with that attitude, the Lord's going to bless you. And we were able to do many things and see many miracles and see the Lord's hand in so many different ways in my first area. And I'm so grateful for a trainer who set the bar so high, who taught me that this is the time that we give to the Lord, and that no minute is wasted. I remember, after having that companion, another companion of mine would want to, go get a drink of water or sit down for 5 minutes, and I would almost be like, "What's going on? We can't, no minutes wasted." And so it was an awesome experience to have that be my first mission companion. Yeah, the first week in the mission is awesome. It's all a blur looking back on it. but just work hard. Um, you wake up in the morning and you read your scriptures and you have your companionship study, and then you go out. And Bolivia is a great place to be. There's no people that are more friendly and open and happier. The awesome part, depending on the area that you're in, because it's so hot there in Bolivia, people just sit outside on the streets. And so you don't always have to, knock on the doors. Half the time they're sitting out there with their their front doors wide open, and you can just go to their gate and talk to them right there.